Hello and welcome back to another installment of the video How to Play D&D UI series.
Yes,
I think
welcome.
we're on the 7th VHS at this point.
Yes. Second episode, 7th VHS.
Take out the 6th one. We should have a pause break. It's like boom, ba, 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 ba. Take out 6th tape. Put in 7th tape.
Welcome back.
Hey.
And unfreeze. Okay.
I am Marco Bertuzzo, as always, Dungeon Master of D&D UI. Playing Zwittig, the Dragonborn Sorcerer, as per usual, is Adriano Bertuzzo.
Hello.
And we've got playing Sweet D, CJ Bosco.
I think I'm actually just playing CJ today. And I think Gage is just playing as well.
No, but I mean, like, generally, when we're playing the podcast, those are your characters.
Oh,
We've got a Drow Rogue. No, not
Try
rogue.
again. One more.
Ranger.
There you go.
Drow Ranger.
Drow Ranger.
And a Dragonborn Sorcerer.
Yes.
And the reason why I mentioned that is because we're talking about races.
Racists.
Racists. We're talking about racists.
We're gonna have one race stroke per video.
That's it. Done.
We're done. We're done. So in Dungeons and Dragons, there are multiple races, and choosing the race that you want to play as is one of the primary steps in choosing your character. Sure, there are humans in the world, but what if you want to get a little fancier than humans? What if you want to play as a dwarf? What if you want to play as an elf? What if you want to play as a dragon man?
Yeah. And what does that mean to your character?
Exactly. Your race will help decide sometimes the alignment of your character, your behavior, generally the way that they look at the world and the world looks at them.
Yeah. They have a heritage. They're particularly good at some things, particularly bad at others. So they'll give you certain dispositions to how you fight.
Yeah. But if you want to make a dwarf that's super happy, or an elf that is
Super sad.
super sad, that goes against the races, absolutely. They're just suggestions. You don't have to be exactly the way that the
They're
PHP.
just stereotypes.
Yeah.
That's honestly all that they are.
And if you want to break them,
yeah,
better on
that's your prerogative.
Exactly.
You do that.
You do that.
Yeah.
First up, dwarves.
yeah. Dwarves are, if you've seen Lord of the Rings or...
Oh, I'm pretty sure Harry Potter has a dwarf.
No, you may be right. They're stout, hearty, drinking people.
People, yes.
Yeah. They like to live in caves and
Mines. And
wear lots of heavy armor and swing heavy things.
they're the general sort of low to the ground, hard-headed, stout, stalwart people.
Very loyal.
One of the dwarves. Yeah. Super stick to their clans and their civilizations. They're very proud people.
I hear they're stout.
Short and stout.
Short and stout.
Like a tea.
Yeah. Yeah, they're
And
rotund. If I want to play a dwarf, what sort of things do dwarfs generally tend to do?
They like to be fighters or paladins. Anything that they can hold a big hammer, maybe. These are things they're naturally good at.
Yeah, they're also very crafty. So they make good traders. If you want to sort of maybe be like a trader who ends up going on some crazy adventure.
Absolutely.
Miners, things like that. Dwarf kings are very popular.
Yeah. They are hardy. So if you want a character who's not going to die so quickly in battle,
A dwarf will not
it's
die as quickly.
a good choice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, dragon will kill everything.
Yeah.
The dwarves make little pre-wrapped snack packages for dragons. So what sort of abilities, skills, what do I get for being a dwarf?
Your constitution increases, which means you're a little bit stronger at resisting maybe poisons or other effects of spells. You live very long. You're shorter than normal, but you weigh more. So you're compressed and
denser.
Yeah, absolutely. You can see in the dark because they live in caves, and they're pretty good at just staying alive.
Yeah. Now, every race sort of has two subclasses almost. So you can be like a race, and then maybe a little bit of that, maybe a little bit of that.
Yeah, it'd be like a Caucasian versus an Asian. We are a human race, but we have different,
Or
mixes.
Somebody who grew up in the desert and somebody who grew up in the ocean.
Yeah.
Both humans. One's really good at swimming, and one's really good
The
at...
guy from the desert, great swimmer.
Great, fantastic swimmer.
the guy who grew up in the ocean didn't live.
Well, just good at riding horses. So what are the two sub-races?
So we have hill dwarfs, obviously grew up
Amidst the hills?
amidst the hills, yes. And the mountain dwarfs that are more cave and rock and...
So Gimli would be a mountain dwarf.
I assume so, yes.
Yeah.
And they're good at masonry.
building stones and the kind of Gimli Moore-esque.
Yeah. There's also an option for a dark dwarf. Or Dragonborn.
Yeah.
Dragonborn.
And they're sort of like more evil. They grew up in this place called the Underdark, which is kind of this like creepy,
under the ground, essentially.
netherworldly place. And they're seen as a little more, I guess, trickster-like. Generally a little more
Devious, as Raph would say.
devious.
But probably the best thing about dwarves is they have a natural ability to wear heavy armor.
Yeah, so they feel really good in heavy armor, and if you want to build, once again, a strong fighter, dwarves are a strong choice.
Even magic people
Paladin.
don't usually get to wear armor, but if you're a dwarf, you do.
Yeah. Elves.
Elves.
Next on the list. Get right to it.
Yeah.
Elves as brought popular by Legolas
And Santa Claus.
also Cookies.
Yes.
Teep.
The guy on the shelf.
Which shelf?
The elf on the shelf.
Will Ferrell.
Right.
Yeah. I don't think these are all the same kind of elf.
But you can play whatever kind you want.
You really want to be,
You really want to be a happy, cheery Christmas
a
elf.
Keebler elf. Go for it.
No one is stopping you.
Generally, elves are tall, slender, grew up either in the forest or in an elaborate city, good at magic and often bows. They're graceful. They're good fighters, but they're more graceful fighters.
They're the fencers.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. They're cut you open with a rapier.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, you play
resident elf
Yeah,
expert.
I'm an elf, so I was looking to add something valuable to the conversation, but completely blanked.
Yeah.
They're usually very attractive. They live a very, very long time. They key off of dexterity. So where the dwarf was very constitutional, he had a lot of hit points. The elf is going to be able to
jump, run,
run, shoot arrows very accurately, strike very accurately, and you're going to have great vision. So you're going to have the ability to see in the dark with superior dark vision. You're also going to be able to see for miles and miles and miles. And if you're sort of the single solitary elf in your party, you might be kind of like the alarm system, because your perception dinger might go off like a spidey sense, and then you want to alert the rest of the party.
Absolutely.
Elves make great sorcerers. They make good druids. They make very good druids.
Yeah.
They do have a natural connection to nature.
They make very good rogues, and they make even better rangers, which is like hunting through the forest with a bow.
It's like Legolas. Oh, it's like Legolas. I was going to say Legolas meets what's his name?
Tarzan.
Legolas would be a great ranger.
But what's his name?
Aragorn. Robin Hood.
Yeah, no, Viggo Mortensen. Aragorn was a ranger.
Yeah.
So it'd be like Legolas and Aragorn. That'd be my character.
Their love child.
Yeah.
Why don't you speak a little bit about the Drow?
So the Drow, they are sort of a subsect of the Elf. They are dark. So just by nature, they grew up sort of underground, much like, what was it,
The Draugr.
The Draugr. I didn't mean to say that so condescendingly to all you Draugr fans out there. So they're dark, they're usually sort of evil. I see them sort of often as sword mages, so they can cast spells as well as wield a sword. They're actually their own class in Skyrim, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's that. It's essentially your elf, but the evil iteration of him.
Yeah.
Still keys off the same sort of things.
So just like the elf, if you want to be your above ground elf, you have the high elf. That's like you live in a fancy city. You have the wood elf, who is maybe a druid or somewhere out in the bushes, and then you have the dark elf.
If you want to use the proper names,
Yes.
sure.
Yeah.
You can go by those.
I guess.
I guess.
What's next up on the list here?
Boom.
Boom.
Halflings. So, halflings are the D&D version of a hobbit, if we're just sort of getting to it. But this version I like a lot more, because hobbits are sort of just hanging out, whatever. They make good cakes. Whereas halflings are known for being very plucky, super adventurous, love to get into adventure and combat and have as much fun as possible. What halflings are really good at being is charming. They're very sweet and adorable and sing great songs. They dance great dances. They're great performers. When it comes right down to it, you put a little short sword in their hand. They're good fighters too.
They can hold their own.
Yeah.
And they would key off of charisma, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're natural performers. They're very talented, and they're also very lucky. They have a reputation sometimes for playing the bumbling fool character, but don't let that trick you. Yeah.
Yeah. They often have cross eyes.
Yeah. They know more than they're letting on, the halflings. Halflings they're even shorter than dwarves.
Yes,
They are. Are they technically a small character?
they are.
So,
So where most characters are classified as a medium character, being about 4 to 6 feet in height, halflings are under that, so you get certain allowances.
yeah. So you can move through tight spaces better. You can move sometimes between the legs of really big creatures, but you also get some hindrances, like really big weapons. Not for you. D&D, there's always a give and a take, right? Everybody's pretty much equal when it comes right down to it.
So if you want to play a character who is a bard, you know, sing a magical tune, cast some fancy magic, charm everybody, this is a good choice.
Sorcerers also key off charisma, so they would make beautiful sorcerers.
They're also good at dexterity, so rogue, something sneaky, you know,
Yeah.
crawl around in the shadows,
Right.
and sneak attack everyone.
Pick people's pockets.
Absolutely.
You know, you don't have to be that murderous about it.
We have 2 sub-races for that. Lightfoot, which is a little more dancey, and stout, your favorite word,
Yeah.
which makes them a little more,
Hardy.
yeah,
A little more like dwarves.
A little more stout.
I like
a little more stout.
You use dancy as an adjective.
Dancey?
A little more dancy.
That's right.
Yeah.
Fleet of foot.
A little more flash dance.
Yeah. Next up on the list, one that we're most familiar with, humans.
Humans.
Yeah.
Humans are your blank slate.
Yeah, they are just very sort of neutral. You can really go anywhere with them, and if you're new to D&D, like I remember the first time I ever played, I was a human fighter, just because it's an easy class, right? They can do a little bit of everything. They can be rogues, they can be spellcasters, though they don't sort of key directly towards it. But again, if you want to do it, you can, and you're not going to be served too poorly because they're really easy to play. They can be
The human is
rangers.
really sort of good at everything.
It's malleable.
Yeah.
It's a jack of all trades, master of none.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Instead of getting like dwarves get to constitution, elves get to dexterity. Humans right away they would say just pick one.
Yeah.
Just pick the one you want to be good at. That's the one you'll be good at. And for either new players or old players that are trying to get really techie specific and max min and optimize the stats, humans tend to be a good strong choice.
You know, like in video games when you hit like blank, do all the points myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what
That's
it
what
is
a
for.
human is. Yeah, absolutely.
There are different heritages, but none of them really change your build. That's up to you.
Next up, we got Dragonborn. And as a resident Dragonborn,
Yeah.
I'll let you take the stage.
So this is probably the closest you're going to get to playing an actual dragon as a character. So these are stand-up, bipedal. They don't have any wings, but they are scaly and they have teeth and they breathe.
Lizard people.
Essentially, yeah.
A very unflattering way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, cooler than that.
Yeah, much cooler than
Yeah.
lizard people, I would say.
Dragonborn are typically stronger because they have a
Dragon scales.
reptile
muscle.
scales.
Yeah.
They have reptile muscles. They have claws. They have teeth that they can use to their advantage. And when you choose a Dragonborn, you get to choose their heritage. So depending on the color of your draconic bloodline, you get to breathe different things. So
Cool.
some breathe
So you
fire,
do get
like a normal-
a fire breath, like
Absolutely.
a dragon. Cool.
Could do.
Why would you be a dragon and not to be able to do that, right? So you can breathe fire, you can breathe cold, you can breathe acid,
Lightning.
poison, lightning, cool stuff. And then you're obviously resistant to that. So if
Yeah.
I am an ice dragon, ice is not going to be bothering me as much because it's already inside me. And they make good battlers, barbarians, or can even be, what I do, sorcerer.
Yeah, they're good at a spell sword. So, like fighting and casting magic.
Absolutely.
They do very well. Not the most charismatic people sometimes.
No, sometimes can be a little abrasive.
Yeah. But hey, that's what happens when you're born with a dragon.
Read Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Frank Reynolds.
There you go. Sounds good. Gnomes.
Gnomes. So, dwarf, halfling, gnome, they're all kind of this like short man.
Dwarves are the strong ones. Halflings are the charismatic ones. Gnomes are the smart ones.
Yeah.
Gnomes are the tinkerers, the thinkers, the explorers, the ones that are really interested in a particular thing.
Right.
So gnomes generally become trap setters or alchemists or wizards or someone who's intensely curious about something. Curiosity is really what defines the gnome. They are also small creatures, I'm pretty sure.
Absolutely.
And they spend a lot of time living underground, so they got the dark vision that you would want from a sort of underground person. They are really good at languages, they're really good at learning spells, things like that.
They're very intelligent.
Yeah.
So they make great casters. Anyone who needs to prepare a lot of spells.
Think about like the borrow words, that's what I think about gnomes a lot of the time.
Like guardian gnomes.
Oh, also those.
Yeah.
So tell me about the subdivisions of gnomes.
Yeah, you can be a forest gnome. So this person is going to be good at speaking with animals and navigating around in nature, plains and trees and stuff like that. And then the rock gnome, someone who is more introverted and tinkery and good with their hands.
Yeah, builders, half-elves. So in the D&D universe, you can get different races sort of interbreeding. A half-elf is someone of a half-elf and obviously half-human parentage. And unlike Lord of the Rings, this can be like a strict biological breeding. Now, half-elf, you get a little bit of what you wanted from the elves, while still staying pretty flexible like a human. But for interesting role-playing things, half-elves tend to be really rare, and people stare at them a lot, and they're seen as a very strange sight to see, or a strange sign.
They sort of try to take the best of both worlds,
Yeah,
while trying to fit into each one.
yeah, because
Spock.
Spock is actually a really good way of putting it.
Beautiful.
They make really good diplomats, they make really good clerics, they make really... Anyone who's really both good at magic and charisma, that's really where they tend to find their forte.
On the other side of that,
On the literally other side of that, we've got the half-orc. So that's somebody that is orc in human lineage, and that means that
very
they're
romantic.
Yeah, they are generally really strong characters. If you're playing a half-orc, you've sort of made the decision that I just want to be the strongest there is. I want to swing the biggest hammer. I don't even care about wearing armor. I just want to smash something. And that's where the half-orc finds its prowess. You're not going to be a diplomat by any means, but...
Oh, you may.
or you may. Did you name your hammer diplomacy?
Yes.
Yes, because then you're a beautiful diplomat. And what do I get for being them?
You get a whole bunch of things that will essentially make you hit stronger.
Smash good.
Yeah.
Smash more good.
Smash more better.
Hit more, hit stronger.
Yep.
That is the half-orc creed.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Absolutely.
Now, this is the final race in the standard player's handbook, and it's a tiefling. So tieflings are a race that have demonic parent lineage. So they've got like red to orangey skin. They've got crazy eyes. They've got horns. They've got long tails, and they're really good at magic. Tieflings sort of have a magical heritage to them, so they're really good spellcasters. But they're also very good at being rogues and sneaking. They're dexterous. Tiefling will rarely pick up a sword and join the fight head on. They're a really interesting class to play. Now, they sound super cool, but that means that a lot of people are probably going to be scared of you, since you have this creepy demonic background to you. But you can play that up. If you want to be the generic tiefling and be the evil, mean, sort of creepy guy in the background, or if you want to be the tiefling that's like, hey man, I'm really a good guy, I'm just trying to save the world and prove to everyone how good tieflings can be. Either of those sound like great characters to me.
And coming from this demonic bloodline, you obviously get a little bit more control in magic and a little more resistance to fire. But it does maybe compromise your standings with just, general humans.
Now, so that's the end of the characters in the standard player's handbook. Since the PHP was released, they have come out with rule sets for minotaurs. Minotaurs are famous half-bull, half-man from a labyrinth. Start big and strong, but they're also good sailors and craftsmen. Then we have the changelings. So the changeling is a race that essentially is like a chameleon and can change its shape and form to match other races. And they're very good at blending in, being diplomats.
Very beguiling.
Very beguiling? That's a good word. Hey. They also have Warforged, which are like big robots. Warforged, they don't need to sleep, they don't need to breathe.
Bender's great idea.
Bender, yeah. Then we have shifters, and shifters are sort of like werewolves or cat people. Anyone that's like half animal, half man, and wants to like...
Animorphs.
Hey. Shift in between. If an animorph gets stuck halfway,
exactly,
that's what a shifter is.
What's happening to me?
If you flip the book and then stop, that's what
I read a post where the guy just photoshopped himself becoming Charizard.
Yeah.
That beardy dude. That he's essentially a shifter.
That's a shifter, for sure. And finally they have Aarakocra. And Aarakocra are bird people. So
Griffin-like,
standing on two legs with wings, good fighters, and you can find all about those in the Unearthed Arcana expansion that the Wizards have put out.
And D&D is always going to be putting out extra ones as time goes on.
Yep.
Yeah.
The world lives and breathes and grows. It's constantly evolving, right? It's one of the best things about D&D. You're never going to get bored.
So hopefully this gives you an overview of maybe, which characters you'd like to delve into. Maybe gives you some ideas of how you want to shape your character or how it'll combine with a class.
Yeah.
If you want to know more about classes and what they do,
Check out the next episode, which will be in this
Absolutely.
annotation right on my fingertip.
We've
Great.
got how to fully build your character, which is going to be another video. How to go adventuring, how to cast spells, how to be a dungeon master. You can find all of this on dndy.com or on our YouTube channel. Arbitrarily pointing. But most of all, what you have to do is
sing
have
it
fun.
out. Yeah, and sing
Have
it out.
fun. Yeah.
let's take it out. Ready?
Sing it out. Links, showing the links on the screen. Showing the links on the screen. Click the links. Look at the link on the screen. Over here.
Take.